It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show. And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, and I'm live here in the Logan Power Show studio. As you can see back there, got my cupboards, got my books, everything stacked, and we're ready to rock and roll. Well, I got with me again, I'm going to do it two parts here on the Logan Power Show. Two dynamic women of God that's going to make an impact with you with their voices, but not what they're doing with their businesses, but how they're impacting not just locally, but across the nation, across the globe. First on for us, it's an honor and privilege. She's going to talk about her event planning business and how she's making a difference. She's the one and only Miss Candace Aku. How you doing, ma'am?
I am well, Calvin. Thank you. How are you?
Good. It's glad to have you here in the Logan Power Show and to be able to bless us and be a part of the Logan Power Show family. So let's talk about your venue, what you got going on, and how you're making an impact and make people's lives better.
Awesome. So our event space is the Aku Venue, and it's in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. We saw a need in the community. A lot of times we are all creatives, and we know that we want to do different things. And when you look around for a space where you're trying to just have an open space where it's non-religious, it's not wedding related, it's not specifically professional or corporate related, a lot of those are barriers when it came down to us finding spaces for when we wanted to do different things. So we were like, why not create it? It doesn't exist. Let's create it. And it's for our community. It's going to be affordable. It's going to be elegant on a budget. And so we just went with it, and we followed down that path and made it to life, brought it to life last year, January. So we're on a year celebrating our 1 year anniversary in business.
Well, that's a blessing to have. Now, the biggest thing that we know, you survived the pandemic and still surviving it. As we know, it's kind of hard doing a venue, and you're starting in the middle of a catastrophic pandemic that's still going on, and then trying to find people who are willing to come out and not only just to have something, but also support you. Now, Moncks Corner, know about that area very well, rural area, but it's becoming very popular when it comes to population growth.
Yes.
You mentioned that you want a venue, a safe space where people can celebrate, can enjoy life. What made you want to start that? I know a lot of times people say, I want to do a venue, and a lot of people, the brick and mortar sort of is fading away, but you're bringing the brick and mortar back to the forefront. So what you would make take that particular type of Goliath type of challenge in such a catastrophic times?
Yeah. So when it comes down to our community, the Black community, it's so easy for us to spin up a church. It's so easy for us to spin up different nonprofits without it being brick and mortar, but you don't see a lot of us with other businesses that are storefronts. And that was another opportunity. Okay, like we don't have this where we own it and can be proud to provide it for people who look like us or who are on the same level as us, who don't want to break the bank to find a nice space to have an event. That was our mission. We wanted to be versatile. We actually wanted to make it a co-working space in the middle of the pandemic. We didn't have a good enough hiring plan to staff for that. Because it would require sanitizing, cleaning, opening up the building. But despite that, God smiled on us, and still people were having intimate birthday parties, intimate weddings. The International African Museum held their community event at our venue. One of the corporate businesses in the St. Stephen's area came and had their corporate Christmas party at the venue. So it's just, people kept us alive, and God smiled on us through it.
Well, the Lord always works in ways that you can never imagine, and to always bring the things that to your eyes, and I look
Mhm.
at as, if you go biblical terms, God works in numbers, and sometimes the small numbers are the ones where you can even make bigger impact. If you think about David when he went into the battle, his greatest victory when he had small numbers. A lot of
Mhm.
times we think, you got to have these huge numbers. And then you also see, like, when it comes to having those intimate and, you know, big time moments are sometimes best when it's done in small groups,
Yeah.
and not, you don't have to be a big time. Like, think about a wedding, you say it's a pandemic. Well, if you love that girl, speaking to my fellas out there, if you love that girl, you ain't got no need no big wedding. Listen, just go
Yep.
on, talk to Mrs. Aku, get hooked up, and have that wedding. If it's just 10 of you, because let's be honest, after the day after the wedding is when marriage really starts. It's not when you say, oh man, we're gonna have this wedding, and it's gonna be sunsets and roses. It's not always the
Mhm.
case. um
Exactly.
yes,
We're
ma'am.
virtual now, but it doesn't mean that we're human. And we need interaction. We need to commune with each other. That's what the Bible says too. Come, let's commune together. Like we'll never get to a point where we're not with someone we love or someone we care about or someone that we're doing business with. We will always find a way to be with other people who we care about.
Absolutely. Now, where, final thing before we bring on our next guest, what is the actual end goal? Because I know a lot of times when we have venues, when we have edifices that we give, there's a game plan in place. I know you said you want to be just more than just a regular uh, place, but you want to be sort of a safe haven. What's the goal for you at the end of the day?
The goal at the end of the day is number one, to stay in business, to always be that space in the community. Number two, we are very proud. If you go through Moncks Corner and you remember KFC Plaza and you remember what it looked like before 2021, and you see what it looks like today, we're very proud to be a part of that progress where we were able to bring a place that once looked deserted within our community now looks totally revitalized. So we are very proud of that, that we are a part of the change of building up where we come from. We also want to get to the point where we do have staff. And if there are people who want to be there during the day, we have a printer, we have whiteboards, we have projector, we have all the equipment. It's just we need the bodies and we need a time to plan because, like you, Calvin, I still work 9 to 5. But we find a way to do the things that we love, me and my wife does. And it's just that we need more hands, we need more bodies, and we have to figure out how to make that happen.
Absolutely. And for those that are watching, again, it takes a village. It takes a village to raise, and it takes a village to make an impact. So let's make an impact today. And I want you all who are watching to keep a good lookout for what she is doing. And the information is available to you on the screen, how to get in contact with her. And I want you all just to take this time to say, to find a place that you feel that is a safe haven for you. A lot of times young people don't have that outlet like they used to have. A place
Hmm.
where I can go after school, I can do my work. A place where you can say, well, I can have a safe party and we can have a good time without worried about something crazy going on. Or we can have the intimate
Exactly.
moment of that wedding or that business meeting we can have in a quiet setting that we can really just get our P's and Q's together before we launch out to the deep. So I want you to take this time. Let's keep it forward. Let's keep it locked. And so we'll be right back at this quick commercial break here at the Logan Power Show and bring our next guest. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.
The Aku Venue Event Center, where the ideals of your special occasion become a manifestation. Contact us today at 803-626-9150.
Hey, welcome back here to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan. You just heard Miss Candace Aku talking about her event planning company. We want you all to support and to be able to look out for what she is doing. Well, I got with me another guest at the Logan Power Show. She is on the rise, someone you want to keep a lookout. She's not taking no no's. She's all about the yeses. Yes, yes, yes. Because that's what it is. It, all these no's, forget it. It's with the yes. Let's bring it down. She knows how to do it the right way. Because that's what it is. We do it the right way, not the wrong way, the right way. She is Mrs. Gwennetta Wright. How you doing, ma'am?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Good. Glad to have you here in the Logan Power Show and glad to bless us here. So let's talk about yourself, what you got going on with your business. I know you got so many hats. I see you got all those degrees and all those great things behind you on the wall. So the floor is yours.
So yes, it is tax season, and that is my bread and butter. That is the love of my life, Xpert Tax Service. I've been doing taxes for 18 years this year. I've been in business for 16. And I think this year for tax season is very, very important for a lot of reasons because the government has made so many changes that is going to impact people's lives personally and professionally. And so I think it's very, very, very important that we get awareness out to us as small business owners, us as just individuals, as far as like how can we benefit this tax season. It's a lot of money on the table.
Well, we don't want to leave no money on the table. We want to take all the money off the table. I want every last dollar, cent, penny. Let's get it all. So let's take it one block at a time. We talk about small businesses. The small businesses sector is something that, it's like a make or break me situation. You can have one good year, next year, you could fall apart. And then they're sort of like in the fight when you say you got a small business. So what are some things that we should be looking out for regards to taxes when it comes to small businesses?
So as far as small businesses, my thing with small businesses is really starting to understand like what money we're bringing in and what money we have coming out. When it's time to file our taxes, understanding what a profit is and understanding what our net income is. And I think that's important when we file our tax. A lot of times, a lot of small business owners, and of course, we have a lot of people that have 9 to 5s that now have side hustles, and nobody understands the importance of their numbers, right? And how it impact you longevity when it comes to obtaining funding, when it comes to purchasing homes and just different things like that. And so I think with small business owners, we have to, understand those two important things: what we got coming in and what we got going out. It's a lot of different credits still because of COVID. They have the sick and family leave credit that us as small business owners never have because we work for ourselves, right? And so this is a time, another year, where you can benefit from having to take time off from your business to see to your family. If you were sick, if your family member was sick, if the school shut down, if the daycare shut down. Usually we're not paid for that when we are off as small business owners, but during tax time, it's very important that you find a tax professional that knows what's going on with these different types of credit, and that you definitely take and benefit from that. Exactly.
Okay. That's something very important. The Family Credit Act regards to COVID is very important, imperative, especially when you think about 10 days, 5 days, 7
Right.
days, whatever time frame to get yourself back in after getting a negative test. That definitely can impact, because dollars make money. So we definitely want to make sure that we're making our money and making those impacts there. Another thing, individualized. We have the child tax kit, the child tax act we've been getting in regards to the past year, almost two, where parents have been receiving funds for their children, and to try to help sort of alleviate some of the burdens that we do encounter. What are some things that we should be looking out for as individual people who have children, and you have been receiving money from the government to sort of subsidize? Will that impact you when it comes to tax season? Because that's one question I know a lot of people are always asking. Yeah, I'm getting this money from the government, but is it going to hurt me down the road?
So it's definitely not going to hurt you, because the child tax credit was not taxable. That was advance money that you got from that particular credit. In the past years, the credit was $2,000. It was a non-refundable credit. You might get some of that money, you might not, just depending on your tax liability. They had the increase due to COVID, which now you get $3,000 for kids that are 6 to 17, which they increased the age as well, because if your child had turned 17 in the past, you wouldn't be able to get the child tax credit no longer. But for this year, you're still able to get it. And then you have the increase for kids that are 5 and under, that is $3,600. And so, of course, like you said, a lot of people did get the monthly payments the last 6 months of the year. And it's not going to affect their taxes, because, of course, they don't have to pay it back. They will just get the remainder of what they're owed when they file their taxes. And for those families that opt out and decided that they might didn't want to take that money monthly, then you will get the full amount. And we're going to have the hugest refunds this tax season period that we've ever seen, not just because of the child tax credit, but we also have the child care credit. So people who have kids who they have to go to a daycare provider, we've always had that credit. That's not a new credit. But what's new about it is it has increased as well. And a lot of people wasn't aware how much of an impact that was going to affect on their taxes this year. So just like the child tax credit, the child care credit was a non-refundable credit as well. But now it's a fully refundable credit in 2021. This year as well. And that means you're getting dollar for dollar for whatever you pay into daycare. And so the credit increased from $3,000 to $8,000 for one child, up to if you spend in expenses. And for 2 kids, it increased 2 or more, it increased from $6,000 to $16,000. Not only that, you're able to get 50% of that back in your income tax refund.
Wow. As you can see, told you gotta get the right way. Miss Wright is not playing. She's making sure that you understand some of those big things that we talk about. Now, we're not gonna get into all the stuff. You understand? You gotta holler at Mrs. Wright, because you to know the right way, you gotta basically get in contact with the right way. So the biggest thing before we close is that, where do you see this going in regards to, you've been in the game 18 years strong. You have a plethora of knowledge. What is your main end goal? Where do you see this going for yourself?
For me, I have expanded my business, of course, outside of taxes. I love doing individual taxes. I love tending to just regular taxpayers, but my heart and soul is small business owners. Just because small business owners is about to rule the world is something I seen years ago. And one thing that I noticed we have a gap in is small business really understanding what being a small business owner is, not just in taxes, but just period. And so my goal is to be a small business hub, a hub for small business owners, where I'm not only providing education for them for taxes, but also providing education for them as far as developing a strong foundation, how to build business credit and start utilizing your own money, how to make sure that you have the same benefits that you would have if you're on a job, by making sure you're getting into retirement plans for yourself, making sure that you have insurance for yourself. So for me, it's so much way bigger than just income taxes. I love it, but it's also making sure that the small business community is educated. And so we are just trying to expand just virtually and just be a advocate for small business owners and to make sure they're educated.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first. Hit the Logan Power Show. Mrs. Wright, you're doing the right way. Make sure you get your right taxes together so you can help yourself. You small business owners, take advantage. You individuals, let's make it happen. Hey, that's all the time I got. My name is Calvin of the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational, to help you grow. Logan Power Show.